Welcome back to the transmission. You watch UAP Troop 33. I am John. I am your host. And today I got a great one for you. We're going to examine the Kumburgaz Turkey UFO incident and what happened. And you're going to be really surprised, not only by the story, right, but also by the evidence. And I think you're going to be really, at the end of this, you're going to be questioning reality. Honestly, I mean, especially if you're new to this subject. So please stay tuned. I'll be right back. Okay, so Kumburgaz, Turkey. This is the UFO videos from 2007, 2009, and what happened, right? And the sightings occurred over multiple nights between 2007, 2008, and again in 2009 in Kumburgaz, a coastal town near the Sea of Marmara. Filmed by a night security guard named Yalçın Yalman, using a mini DV camera with an optical zoom. So the camera was nice, right? It was a good camera. And he was filming out over the sea. He sees this, seemed like a crescent, kind of like a disc crescent shaped object in the night sky. It was a metallic disc shape, maybe, oval, but it had that like a crescent top to it. Sometimes with red orange lights nearby, often hovering over the sea between midnight and dawn. So it was always like late night, Multiple residents also reported seeing the objects during the same nights, which is wild. But in the footage itself, there's one, and I'm going to show it to you. It's probably going to be right here next to me, but you can see when he zooms in on the craft, there's like this, it appears like the dome of it opens, and you can see this, what appears to be your typical gray alien type of being. And it appears like the being is looking around, observing its surroundings. So I want you guys, I'm going to let you guys look at it. I'm going to go ahead and go to the actual footage on the big screen so you guys can actually get a closer look. But just look at this, check it out. I'll be right back.
In fact, so close that you can see the occupants. It is 100% real, and I was there as that was filmed.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to know.
Up on my website, unfortunately, the one that's the depiction that's up there is not as clear as the other footage I have, and we're going to switch it soon. The one I have is the clearest footage of it. Also, I think the audience would like to know that footage was taken by the Cirrus UFO organization to a university in Istanbul, and their optical physicists went over that with a fine-tooth comb, and it was on all the major television broadcasts in Turkey that that was the real McCoy. There was no faking. There was no trickery of the camera. There was not an aberration. It was not a frisbee. It talked about the reflected light off of the craft, which was coming from the full moon, and that the areas where you see the occupants are some kind of a backlighting.
Okay, now you said you were there when this was filmed. How close did this thing get to you and whoever else was there observing it?
Not as close as you might see from the footage. We were on the beach and filming out over the water. And what we saw is something bright that was under the moon. So let's say the moon was the size of a dime. This would have been the size of a flashlight. And we were more interested at that point in the moon than the little bright light that was under it. But the camera that we were using had a 400 millimeter lens on it and an electronic doubler. So as we pushed on the craft, which means focused or
Görüyor musun nasıl geçiyor? Vallahi yine yakaladım. Vallahi yine yakaladım. Var abi. Var abicim. Var abicim.
Look, Yalman wasn't alone. Residents, tourists, and even local fishermen reported seeing the same object on the same nights. Some described it as silent. Others said it hovered low over the water before drifting away. This wasn't a single event. It was a multi-year pattern. So there, so there you see it. I mean, just crazy. But we're going to get to the technical test, the scientific analysis of this footage, because I think that is one of the key points that we need to really talk about here. So the Sirius UFO Research Center in Turkey, then this organization coordinated video authenticity analysis, frame by frame enhancement, optical zoom verification, pixel level artifact inspection. So they did a really, they coordinated this test to really determine whether this was CGI or some kind of digital manipulation. Basically, a detailed graphic analysis was published in 2011. And the analysis, the analysts reported no signs of compositing, no pixel level anomalies consistent with digital editing, no mismatched compression artifacts. The object size and distance could not be faked easily, right? Because of the footage was shot across the Sea of Marmara, analysts noted the object's light reflection on the water matched real world physics. Zoom behavior matched the mini DV optical zoom characteristics, and the object maintained consistent parallax and horizon alignment. Look, a lot of skeptics have claimed that they think that this was just some kind of ship and what we were seeing was the masthead. But how did these green beings get up on top of the masthead and be looking around, right? It just doesn't make sense. And we're going to get to the smoking gun here in a second, but I want to continue on about the analysis of the video, right? The structural details visible in the 2008 footage. The 2008 clips are the most controversial because they appear to show a concave craft structure, right? Some frames show two humanoid-like beings inside a lit section of the craft. Analysts stated these shapes were not added digitally, so they weren't faked, but were part of the raw optical capture. So in other words, they were able to look at the raw file of the video, and multiple witnesses confirmed that the object was there. Residents, tourists, they all reported seeing the same object during filming sessions. So it wasn't just like one guy or some UFO kook or group of UFO enthusiasts out here recording. There was regular, normal people on vacation and such. And according to Turkish media and the Sirius Center, a panel including TÜBİTAK, which is the Scientific and Technological Research Council of Turkey, TÜBİTAK. I'm just saying TÜBİTAK, that's the acronym. They reviewed the footage. TÜBİTAK reportedly concluded the videos were not computer generated and not a hoax. This is widely cited in UFO literature because I did ask AI about this to see what AI had to say. And AI seemed to conclude the same thing that I did. And the one thing that I did ask, right? So I asked Gemini if it could determine the maritime data. Was there ships in the sea that night? There wasn't. There was no ships in the sea that night. So this, these debunkers claiming that this was a masthead and that it was an optical illusion is false. That, my friends, is the smoking gun. So check this footage out. Here's another one. I'll be right back.
Like the movement inside the craft as these
beings are doing something. Some people, and like myself, I believe that they could be up to alien abductions, because in some of the still frames that were extracted from it, it looks like there's someone getting attended to who's laying in a prone position, and there's two alien beings hovering over him, along with a praying mantis being. We're going to look at some of those still images later on. But yeah, this is most certainly, I think this is perhaps the most incredible UFO footage ever taken. Okay, now this is a close up. What we're looking right now, this is I have it zoomed in. It's not stabilized yet. I do have a stabilized version coming up and slow motion version, but this is in regular speed, a close up of that first UFO that we saw in the video that I just showed before, but it's close up now. And now here I have it slowed down and also stabilized so we can see it better. Now it's very blurry, right? This first video here, so it's really hard to see. But you could see, at some point, you could make out dark black eyes. There's two beings, one in the middle there of this open hatch, one to the left. There could be a person that looks like might be laying down there in front of them. And so this might be an abduction event occurring as this Yalçın Yalman was filming this. So what this basically tells us all we need to know, right? I mean, if this is in fact, if Yalçın Yalman actually caught an abduction occurring, then this is how it would go, right? I mean, wouldn't they try to find a place to be to do these examinations over the sea, right, away from people's houses, away from where anybody they think could see them, right? Here they are, apparently working on someone. There's actually a figure on the right front. It's very dark figure, and that. It's really hard to see here, but that apparently is a praying mantis alien. It's hard to see here. I will show some still images later on, but this is the close-up that I got.
So what the videos show, based on the analysis, is 2007 footage, metallic curved craft hovering over the sea, no visible occupants, right? That was in 2007. In 2008, you had a clearer structural detail, interior like concave section, and two shapes resembling occupants, humanoid figures inside the craft. One of them, big eyes, typical alien gray looking thing, was looking around inside as if it's surveying its surroundings, which is just whew. And the 2009 footage witnessed by Dr. Roger Leir, who was present during filming. He's a very prominent researcher of this phenomenon, similar shaped craft, additional light phenomena. And why this case is considered unique, right? This is where it gets, where the rubber hits the road. It was multiple years of footage, multiple witnesses, clear optical zoom with no digital artifacts, no proven hoax explanation. Some of the clearest alleged occupant imagery ever recorded. That's a quote. Kumburgaz case is one of the most controversial, and to this day, one of the most strong pieces of footage evidence of UFOs and non-human intelligences. I just find it just so interesting, the fact that the craft appeared the same in each of the recordings, and the fact that you actually saw occupants looking around, surveying their surroundings. It was just chilling, right? Gave me goosebumps, actually. In 2009, the object returned, this time witnessed by Dr. Roger Leir, known for his work on alleged implant cases where abductees found implants in people's bodies, right? And he described the craft as silent, structured, and unlike anything he'd ever seen. Footage from that year matched the previous two. Same shape, same behavior, same location. 3 years, one mystery. But let's give you the skeptics argue, right? Their argument, right? So skeptics argue the object could be a boat, a drone, a misidentified craft, but none of those explanations account for the metallic curvature, the interior-like structure, the multi-year consistency, the lack of digital tampering, and the multiple eyewitnesses. And no one has ever recreated the footage convincingly. So what did Yalçın Yalman capture on those quiet nights in Kumburgaz? A misidentified object, a classified craft, or one of the clearest glimpses into a phenomenon humanity still struggles to understand. But whatever the truth is, whatever you believe, the Kumburgaz footage remains one of the most compelling pieces of UFO evidence ever recorded. And until someone can explain it, I'm convinced. Listen, when you see beings inside of a craft that's making no noise, the reflection is reflecting off the ocean. The moonlight is reflecting off of the craft, right? And you see a green appearing being being lit up from the interior of this craft. Big eyes, looking like an alien gray, looking around, surveying its surroundings. That gave me goosebumps. And to me, that was some hard evidence. And the fact that they analyzed the footage and it was all legit, they couldn't find any tampering, no kind of CGI, just kind of adds to the mystique and the strength of the evidence. So this is UAP Truth 33. Please like, share, subscribe, share it with a friend, share it with 2 friends. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.